Hello, I'm Charles Kovess, Australasia's passion provocateur. Welcome to this week's episode of The Charles Kovess Show, episode 128. In this week's episode, my big idea is to explore the 7 heavenly virtues of contributing to your community, with a particular focus of contributing through service clubs such as Lions International or Rotary or some other type of service club. I identify 7 heavenly virtues that you will experience when you join such clubs regardless of your age. If you're looking for a life partner, joining such a club might just be a perfect step for you to take. Many people say, I don't have time to contribute to my community, to contribute to my nation, or to contribute to my planet. I'm just too busy. I hope when you consider these 7 heavenly virtues, you might raise your awareness of the amazing benefits awaiting anyone who chooses to give back. Our format for the show is in 4 parts. First, the big idea for regular viewers and listeners, so we get into the new content immediately. Second part is 6 resources to help you put the new idea into practice if it is of interest to you. Thirdly, I review happenings in the week, in the planet, in my life, in Julie's life. And then lastly, at the end of the program, I explore the foundational principles for this show and some background about me, so you can find out who you're watching, who you're listening to. So, let's go with today's big idea. This idea was inspired by my presentation to a Lions International convention in Seymour, Victoria, in the recent weekend. There are at least 7 heavenly virtues available to you, 7 heavenly experiences available to you when you choose to contribute to your community, regardless of your age. Many people do contribute to their community. Many people don't. I have contributed all my life to not-for-profit communities, to charities. And I suppose that was influenced by my parents, who were refugees from Hungary, who had no money, and yet they did an enormous amount of work, energy, time for local communities, particularly the Hungarian community in Victoria, Australia. That example inspired me to keep doing that, and I keep doing that. And if I went through my list of organizations to which I've contributed, it would take too long. But even at the age of 25, for example, I was the president for 5 years, between 25 and 32, of the Lawn Surf Lifesaving Club. Many other clubs, organizations where I have contributed for no money. And even now I contribute. I say I'm as busy as almost anybody that I know. My IT guru says nobody gets as many, of all of his clients, nobody has as many emails as I do. And it's not because they're junk emails, but because of the range of organizations and charities with which I'm involved, to whom I contribute. I contribute because I experience these heavenly virtues that I'm about to share with you. When you understand more directly the value of these heavenly virtues, you might reassess whether your comment, I don't have time, is actually valid. You might reassess your decision not to participate. Each one of us does what he or she wants to do. When you understand these heavenly virtues, you might want to participate. You might want to contribute. So here's the 7. Number 1, you will generate new friends of both sexes, men and women. Number 2, you might find your new lover, your new life partner. Service clubs are great places to meet people and lead to marriages. But I'm not saying leave your existing spouse. You will end up loving lots of new people. So if you're already happy with your life partner, you'll love more people. You'll have more love in your life. Third heavenly virtues. You go to a weekly party. Every week there's a party. Every week you can drink coffee with your new buddies in the service clubs. Imagine feeling down, and then each week for 1.5, 2 hours, you can go with a group of people of all ages and be inspired to get on with your life, to embrace the challenges of life, to share stories about life, listen to other people's stories, and realize that your life is not as bad as you thought. But this happens weekly. The repetition value is enormous. Fourth heavenly virtue, you get new problem-solving resources for your own life. You find out new ways to solve your problems because of the interaction that you have with your new friends. We all have problems. There are elegant ways to solve problems and less elegant ways to solve problems. New people whom you meet will give you new ways to do that. You will also have the ability to find excellent people who can give you referrals to problem solvers such as lawyers, accountants, dentists, doctors. You see, most people pick their professional advisors through referrals. And so when you join such a service club, and often with people with lots of experience, you get much better referrals than people who don't know what they're talking about. The fifth heavenly virtue, as a member of a service club, you are solving problems for people in your community. You are solving problems for the planet. Yesterday, for example, I heard of a Lions initiative to collect plastic drums that held chemicals in them that are all scattered all around farms. It's amazing. Millions of these containers have been collected off farms and recycled. When you solve problems for other people, you feel good about yourself. It builds your self-confidence. Helping other people helps you enormously. You feel good about yourself. You feel confident about yourself. And therefore, your ability to solve your own problems, to make progress in your own life, improves. The sixth heavenly virtue is that you learn new skills whilst contributing to your community. In these service clubs, you engage in projects that are of interest to you. You don't get involved in every project. And you develop your skills because you learn from the people around you. You do things that you might never have done before. You do things that you think you don't enjoy, and then suddenly you realize you do enjoy them. Skill development, learning new ideas, new perspectives, new skills is a crucial element to staying young at heart, to maintaining your enthusiasm. And the seventh heavenly virtue is that you have a lot of fun, a lot of laughter. You might say, well, it's all a whole bunch of work. No, it's not. There's lots of fun, lots of laughter. Trust me, I've been to many service club events where I've spoken on many, many occasions, and there are lots of laughs, lots of fun. The smiles on people's faces are just amazing. I say that these 7 heavenly virtues are of deep, deep value, deep benefit for you. And I would urge you to reassess the proposition that you put that you don't have time. I say to you, what's more important than these 7 heavenly virtues? Think about it, and I hope I've provoked you to think about it. Now, here are some resources to help you in your consideration of this big idea of whether you want to get engaged in a new community. The song this week, very relevant, I think, as I'm loving my coffee. It's a song by Sister Sledge. We are family. You see, in these service clubs, they don't have songs, but I urge them to have songs. Every one of the clubs should have a theme song. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Everyone can see that we're together as we walk on by. This is such a powerful idea. When you sing songs like this, it reminds you of the value of being in a great group. And your spouse might have left you. Your kids might have left you. Joining such a service club could be just the way for you to lift yourself out of doldrums that you might have fallen into, particularly following lockdowns that have occurred in many communities, particularly Victoria's community. My book for you this week is the autobiography of Rudy Giuliani on leadership. Julie loves it. I love it. And Rudy Giuliani, as the mayor of New York, did some amazing things for his community. It's one example of a book that you might read that inspires you to say, hey, adding value to the community adds value to your own life in amazing ways. Giuliani's experience at 9/11 and how he writes about it is inspirational. So I hope you enjoy that. Another book that might be relevant would be the biography of Paul Harris, who founded Rotary. And I don't know the biography of the person who founded Lions International, but Lions International has been in Australia for 105 years. My health tip, and I talked about this at the Lions Convention, that one kid says to another, how do lions make love? And the other kid says, I don't know, my dad's a Rotarian. Ha, ha, ha. But I was talking about health, and the health tip today is to understand the impact that your health has on your sex life. And so if if your vitality is not what it should be, it's going to impact on your sex life. And if you want a better sex life, then make this link in your own mind between, gosh, me burning fat, me getting fitter is going to have a positive impact on the quality of my sex life. I happen to think, in fact, the AMA in Australia, an organisation for which I don't hold much regard, but it has published research that says there's a massive link between excellent mental health and a healthy sex life. So that's my health tip. My spiritual tip is to spend time meditating on why people you know contribute to their community, why other people who you don't know contribute to their community. Think about this issue of contribution. My quote today is around the concept of free speech. I talked about it at the Lions Convention. I talked about not getting trapped into people stopping you from saying what you think because they'll be offended. And this is a wonderful quote by Albert Einstein. So long as they don't get violent, I want to let everyone say what they wish. For I myself have always said exactly what pleased me. I say again, suppressing speech is the beginning of the end of freedom. Censorship of free speech is the beginning of the end of your freedom. Don't be trapped into it by being nice. And a spot of humour for you today. It's on the topic of ambivalence and your contribution to a service club, your contribution to your community has wonderful benefits, but it also has drawbacks. It has good, it has bad. You have to invest your time, energy, and money into making such a contribution. And so I've been talking about the benefits. Well, there is some ambivalence about this, and you need to reorganize your life so that you create the time to experience these heavenly benefits. Well, there's a wonderful story about ambivalence. And one guy was talking to another. He said, my psychiatrist says I need to understand ambivalence. I just don't get it. How can I be happy and sad at the same time? And his friend said to him, let me explain it to you this way. Imagine if you just bought a brand new Mercedes and the next day, someone's driving it and it goes over a cliff and totally destroyed. How would you feel? He says, I would feel terrible. He says, yes, but how would you feel if your mother-in-law was driving? That's ambivalence. So stop thinking that you can do anything that doesn't have benefits and drawbacks. There is two-sided nature of everything that we do. The benefits of contributing to your community are wonderful. So use these resources to think about today's big idea and a shift that you could make in your life if you're not yet contributing, or it might inspire you to contribute even more to your community. My aim for this show is to add value to your life so that you are living the life that you wish to be free to live, and that you raise your self-awareness by these spiritual tips, by these health tips, so that you get a deeper understanding of yourself, so that you make wise decisions that enable you to live the life of your dreams. I invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel or to this podcast. If you enjoy it, share it with your family and friends and work colleagues. Visit charlescovest.com to get information about the self-awareness and Passion Quest, and visit covest.com for corporate programs and public programs. My books, Passionate People Produce and Passionate Performance, are available at both of those websites. Now, let's quickly review what happened over the course of the last week. As usual, I moderated 2 global meetings of medical doctors and scientists, and the guests this week were Dr. Shimon Yanovitz from Israel and Dr. Kevin Corbett from the UK. And both of them shared provocative, interesting views related to health. Moderating these meetings is a lot of time, a lot of energy, but the learning from it and the information that's being shared all around the world is amazing. And then Julie and I host the FOAM meetings on Friday night, which is also global. If you would like an invitation to FOAM, let us know. Send us an email and we will be in touch with giving you the details. These are wonderful meetings held at 7 p.m. Melbourne time each Friday night. I also participated in a global symposium called 5 Small Stones. It also is about freedom. It happened on Friday morning Melbourne time, Thursday afternoon New York time, and it was a whole huge global event. I was a moderator for one of the breakout rooms. You heard me talk about the presentation to the Lions Convention over the weekend, so that was quite a bit of preparation and presentation, but that was something that I gave back to the community by helping Lions International be able to sustain its service, to add value to its communities. A big drama during the week was the rebuilding of my email system, Outlook. My IT guru is a wonderful man, but golly gosh, it's had a big impact on my productivity, and it's been a deep, challenging exercise to maintain my own equilibrium while I'm being slowed down with all these challenges that I have, with all of these issues I need to deal with. And I've also been planning for a visit up to Orange in New South Wales to the Australian National Field Day in my role as CEO of a hemp company, Textile and Composite, and Secretary of the Australian Industrial Hemp Alliance. So hemp is the featured crop at this year's Australian National Field Day that goes from 20, 21, 22 October, 3 full days. Thousands of farmers come from all around the world, all around Australia, to be brought up to date with what's happening. So there's a fair bit of planning going into this hemp extravaganza. And lastly, of course, the exercise goes on. The ability to maintain this equilibrium. If I'm getting frustrated by no emails, I get onto my bike, go to an hour and a half bike ride. Life improves. If you're not doing exercise, your life will improve when you do. Promise. So, if you're new to the show, stick around now for the foundational principles of the show, and also more background about me and my journey, and particularly my focus on freedom, on your freedom to live life on your terms, and what the link is between law that I used to do, legal strategies I now do, passion, comedy, hemp, health. There's a big theme around freedom. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until our next show, may your week be full of health-giving passion, of wonderful, nurturing, nourishing inputs into your body, mental, physical, and spiritual, and also challenges that help you to learn and grow and to discover more about who you are. Thanks for being with us. Look forward to being with you next week. Bye. And now, for viewers and listeners who want to know more about my background and what else I do with my life, as well as the foundational principles of the show, here we are. Since 1993, when I left my legal career, a career that I love, to become Australasia's passion provocateur, I have inspired and provoked and educated and motivated people all over the world to discover and pursue their passion. I have helped people via the books that I've written, via speeches at conferences, via in-depth team building programs, workshops over 1, 2 or 3 days, or over 3 months, 6 months. And I've coached people of all ages, one-on-one, from small, medium and large enterprises, government enterprises, helping them to identify the often tiny changes that can make a massive difference. One of my core principles is that freedom is what makes us truly human. That's why one of the greatest threats that government imposes on you to force you to observe its laws is the threat of imprisonment, the loss of your freedom. Just think about that. Government says, if you don't behave yourself, we're going to put you in jail. No, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to lose my freedom. That's a reminder to you of why freedom is so important. Without freedom, you and I are not much different to animals. If you were locked up in a cage for the rest of your life, how different would you be to an animal? This commitment to fighting for freedoms for all people is carried out by me primarily through 5 channels. Number 1, preserving the freedom to pursue your passion. Number 2, inspiring you to be able to be free through excellent health. Number 3, helping preserve freedom throughout the world through the expansion of industrial hemp, a magnificent agricultural crop, an almost miraculous crop that enables every community to thrive independently of government. In this way, the power of government to take away freedom is minimized. Number 4, fighting for freedom through legal strategies. So I do work as a legal strategy consultant, as an interface between clients and their lawyers. And number 5, as chairman of the Australian Institute of Comedy and as a board member of the Australian Cartoon Museum, fighting for the freedom of thought and speech through uncensored comedy and humour, through avoiding political correctness in the comedic space. When you block freedom of speech, freedom of thought, that's the beginning of the end of your freedoms. The foundational principles for the Charles Kovess Show are founded on the formula SA plus P equals S. Your self-awareness added to your passion will guarantee that you are successful. And the best definition of success I have found in life is that success is the progressive realization of your worthy ideals. The progressive realization of your worthy ideals. This show is also guided by Socrates' famous principle and quote, "The unexamined life is not worth living." You can see I'm wearing my red jacket. I wear my red jacket for all my shows. Red is the color of passion, so that when you see me on the YouTube version, it reminds you that when you see red in your life, you ask yourself the question, am I pursuing my passion? What am I passionate about? Am I still passionate about that? What might I newly be passionate about? Each week I explore one big idea that can change your life. And it's just one big idea because there's a chance you will remember it. If I give you too many ideas, then we get confused and we don't do anything. Clarity leads to power. Confusion kills passion. Each week I share simple and practical resources that you've heard me describe in the earlier part of the show. A spiritual tip, a health tip, lyrics of a song, a book, a quote, and of course humour. This show is not politically correct. I have no intention of being politically correct. And I love certain addictions, including my addiction to great coffee, my addiction to exercise, my addiction to reading, and my addiction to certain other unmentionable in public type behaviours. Who would know what they are? This show definitely subscribes to the view that we have a spiritual life. So if you don't like discussion of spirituality, this show is not for you. I promise you that I don't include anything in this show that I don't consider to be true and that I have not found to be useful in the work that I've done over the past 28 years, but also over the past 50 years in business, as a lawyer, as a consultant advisor. I only want to share stuff with you that is of value to you. Finally, if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to contact me at charles@covest.com. Again, thanks for watching and listening to my show. Bye.